Welcome everyone. It is Essentials.tf and it is I, Turtles, back again with some more ETF2L 6v6 Winter 2025. It is week 3. It is turning into the mundane every week task that it's ever turned into. But this time, I'm joined with Naj in the channel. Naj finally bringing us maybe some change to our monotony here of our ETF2L season.
Yeah, I'm here. I'm here to be a nuisance and maybe make some people cringe. It's gonna be fun.
Magical. You know, they say if you cringe, but you're free. Anyway, speaking of our free soul, we've got Stu in the channel. He's doing all of our production tonight, so there will be no comments about his cringe or anything like that, or of his camera work or anything. He is protected. He is a wonderful producer. He is part of our little team. Okay. ETF2L 6v6 Winter 2025, our week 3 game that we decided to pick on this Essentials channel this Thursday. It's going to be 4Fence versus Danish Tyrant regime. Naj, familiar with these teams at all?
Yeah, I'm somewhat familiar with a few of the players on side of 4Fence, but I'm mostly familiar with the DTR side because they were around in the last stream that I was a part of, and yeah, they had a lot of fun, especially on this map in general. So I think it's going to be pretty interesting.
Yeah, that map you're insinuating to is Metalworks. That is their map pick choice as well. But 4Fence, they do respond with a Snakewater pick. So kind of two maps that aren't the most popular in the season, but every team has their little strengths and that they're going to gravitate towards from the little map picks and bans that they change out every week and week. Anyway, speaking away from the maps and onto the teams, why don't you give me a roster rundown of DTR? Because I'm a bit forgetful. Who's on that team, Naj?
Fully. Well, on the side of DTR, we have quite a interesting combination of players. We've got Mr. Flickito, as he's named in game, or Flick, on the scout alongside Ams. We got the Nikki and also Smile soldiers, and then we've got I'm losing my mind here. Sorry. We got Juxta on the medic and Alien Smiley on the demo. So pretty interesting team, very powerful lineup, some accolades on their belt. Pretty interested to see how they actually perform on this map because Soldiers did a lot of work last time.
Yeah, and meeting them on the other side on the blue team will be 4Fence, our reigning ETF2L champions. That is in the shape of the same roster as last time, which is Nevo and QB on Scouts, Brujman and Demul on Soldier classes, Deli is playing Demoman, and Mula is playing that ever lovable medic. Okay, I'm going to set the scene here, Naj. You tell me if I'm right or wrong. Okay, you got the Prem winners from the previous season, and now you've got an AMS team. Is this AMS team like anything to kind of worry about for the side of 4Fence? Is this actually going to punch up against the champions here?
Well, if we want a little bit of history, AMS historically was known for, building up these teams, coming into every season with sort of like a somewhat of a new roster, sometimes some minor changes, but generally speaking, we'd see a lot of new rosters coming out of AMS trying to find his footing, trying to find the people he wanted to stick with. And the thing that we always kind of saw was that sort of top of the table, second, third place placements from them. And I think that generally speaking, we could probably be seeing something like that again, or maybe he's here to break the ice and really just go for that top spot, like gun for it. And I mean, if they're going to prove it in any game, it's got to be right here, right?
Yeah, I think you're right. This is definitely a game that would turn heads, crack necks, if they actually pull out a win against 4Fence, especially because 4Fence have come up and upset already in the ETF2L season that witnessed kind of comeback. The team that was put spooks in everyone's sort of closets as they were just literally terrified of this team, but until they kind of quit, and now they're actually on the comeback and witness losing out on their first week against 4Fence. So kind of setting that it's not going to be easy pickings for the top dogs going back into this. But I mean, if, like you said, if AMS punches up against this top dog, then maybe we've got a real sort of dogfight going for us in this ETF2L season. But I'm going to add a little amendment to your history lesson, because AMS, I'm not sure if you've known, but his stock has gone down since you've last checked in, Naj. He is, oh boy, he was kind of skirting around a Div 1 for a little bit. And I think, obviously he's on the rise now. These is a very nice squad as far as AM's teams go. But like in the previous other seasons, these little projects didn't quite always make it to that top seedings, like you said, from yesteryears. But soon we're going to find out. I think it's not going to be long until we're going live into our first map, which is going to be Metalworks. If you can give me a prediction quickly, what would you say, Naj?
Let's go for something quite close. I'm gonna go with like a 3-2, 4-3 in favor of the DTR side.
All right, I'm going to stick nice and safe, and I'm going to go with the French compadres. I think it's going to be a tidy 5-0, actually. I'm going to give them a 5-0 wake-up call for DTR.
Ooh, going heavily against me. Well, we'll have to see. It's going to be pretty interesting because I remember in the last match, the DTR match, I can't quite remember who they were against. I can quickly figure out.
Samako?
I think it was Garda that
Garda.
Oh no, was it Garda that I casted? No, different one maybe. But either way, they played one of these teams, and in that game when they played Metalworks, there was a lot of work being done by Smile and Nikki, as I've already alluded to, and specifically on the Smile side. Like Smile spent a lot of time finding amazing openings to get behind.
All right,
So
well,
really
wait no longer. Wait in anticipation. I'm going to have my camera on Smile for this first mid of Metalworks. It is 4fence versus Danish Tyrant regime. I'm with Turbo Tabs. Joining with me is Naj and Stu in the production. And what's going to happen on this mid, Naj? Oh, God, Brugeman's already turned up.
Oh, goodness. Looks like there's a lot of pressure coming on to the Valley side, and they're just going to be leaving on DTR. Like, absolutely no way they're going to be contending on this mid. And with Small down, they're probably not going to be applying too much pressure on the alley side either. So it looks like 4fence want to already get themselves a little bit of footwork over there.
Alright, so, I mean, it's fine. It's just a fluke. Beginner's luck. Brugeman catching them with the sucker punch fast mid that he's known for. He's already going in with a fast bomb to try and get in second. But he's been denied by these scouts quite nicely for Danish. But it was a distraction, a mere distraction for Demo to come in from the lobby area. Doesn't quite find the pick, however. And my God, look at the experience. Look at the kind of the tight regime that they're running over on 4fence. They lose one player, they're all out of there, Notch.
Yeah, speaking of running over, there was very much potential there for Deli to get himself run over by one of those scouts. He spent a lot of time lingering around inside of that sort of alley side, and there was definitely a scout watching as he sort of made his back up to leave. So I think there's a little bit of an opening there if they want to try and decide to go for it. And I think Arms was the one that actually spotted it out.
I do love a second hold here on Metalworks. It's a real test to see like how teams like to defend if they want to put their medic in that more aggro position, or if they're a very defensive team like maybe some others compared to on this Metalworks. But Danish Tyrant regime, they're playing very forward with Juxta, so Juxta more likely to get caught out here if they can get Brugeman on top of this medic. He jumps in to start off, but he's actually going for a lobby push instead. A bit safe and finding the kill very early on Alien Smiley. They're not focusing for a med pick at all. They're all just trying to break down the damage classes one by one. With 3 down, no Uber expended. They could maybe push this straight into last.
Yeah, beautiful opportunity to separate these players and manage to actually get the force here on last.
No.
They got the collapse onto the final few players that were remaining on the second, and as the Uber comes in for the side of 4fence, they're getting some capture on the point, and that's going to be everybody dead in the post round. 1 round in favor of 4fence.
It's clean, it's tidy, it's French, it's all the things French I love in a nice ETF2L game. But it's okay, it's fine. They might have won this battle, but the French don't always win the war here. Maybe Danish Tyrant regime can kind of bounce back here. I don't know what the war log is like for Danes though. I can't imagine it's high, but you know, it's fine. It's Metalworks. Let's see if they can make this comeback. Let's see what adjustments they make. Brugeman messing up the rollout straight away, so they'll get a little pressure, but not as much pressure onto Alien Smiley as he hoped. He packs off, gets a quick health back, and it's like it never really happened. And already the positioning's quite even. Nicky's going to go in for a bomb, gets a scout pick to start up, and keeps himself alive for a long time in this. Demo Rumble will punish finally, however, but that's a trade at the end of the day, so it's looking a bit stronger, I would say, for the Danish Tyrant regime if they can actually focus their fire a little bit better, but the high ground is staying true for Forfence, and yeah, maybe we're kind of losing our head a little bit over on AMS, going a bit hero mode there, trying to salvage the mid, and I think it just comes down to the better positionings of Forfence in that end of the mid fight. All quiet on the western front here for the Danish Tyrant regime. They're already setting up their sentry gun now, but they've got 100% Uber charge over on Mula. Never went down, you see, so it's kind of up to them to kind of throw something in and see what they can work with, get this Uber charge maybe out. Oh no, they'll go for a pick from Nikki as well. They even take out the sentry gun pretty easy as well, so they could afford to do some more pressure here. That's an alien smiley going down, Demo Man down. On last point is a devastating move. They had to pop Uber just to block the point there and get proactive on the defense, but because of that, they didn't really have to use their Uber on Forfence here. They've backed out cleanly.
They have, and well, now they've got the Uber advantage, getting ready to play it inside of the lobby as they wait for their respawn. But looks like the likelihood is on this Danish side, they are going to be just setting up this heavy, maybe a gun. They have got the level 1 underneath the bridge, but I don't know how much work a level 1's going to do. It did quite a bit in their previous game, but as one of the soldiers gets caught on the right-hand side, it looks like we're going to be seeing a lot of point pressure coming out with the supercharge. Heavy goes down, and that is going to be another round for the side of Forfence. Unfortunate for Danish Tyrant regime.
Yeah, it didn't go completely bad for Danish Tyrant regime. They didn't immediately lose somebody from that Uber charge, but it was just QB getting onto the point, getting so much cap time, and surviving as well. I think he got tagged by one sticky, but one sticky is just not good enough to kill a fully buffed scout, and he even got a bit of love in from that Uber at the end. Baited AMS onto the point, cleaned it up, dominoes fell 1 by 1, 2-0.
Yeah, I think finding these openings to be able to, you know, get some cap time, maybe get some pressure onto the players and things like that, and just being able to sort of coordinate it fully between yourselves is going really well for the side of Forfence. A bit of a pressure on point. AMS tries to take a 1v1 with Nevo, but the heals are too much as AMS gets himself caught. A big bomb from Smile. Manages to find 2. Nikki still in, finds a lot of damage onto Brugeman, and he's just going to try and get himself out. Nevo, though, wants to carry on with this contention.
Flick is feeling the nerves here. He's got to go up against Nevo 1v1. Already starting off with a meat shot set to his cranium, and Brugeman's going to back him up now, making this 2v1 a 2v0, as he's going to push out the other player, and that's Nikki. He's not even going to contest this point now with that player going down.
Yeah, indeed. And well, now DTR just have to set themselves up on second, get themselves ready for this equal Uber fight. Potentially going to be having a lot of heavy contention onto them, maybe even early, as they are getting themselves set up inside of the valley / alley area on the side of Forfence. So we'll have to wait and see what they actually go for, but Brugeman just checking corners, getting himself ready, potentially wants to go for a sack early.
Alright, Alien needs to keep himself well alive. He was kind of the first domino to fall in that previous sort of hold of second here, so hopefully the adjustments will get made. And they've actually got Juxta quite aggro, far out, away from the safety of a shutter door. Already sticky set up, cutting off Alien. They're going to go for Juxta instead, and he gets a nice drop onto the lad. The last thing you want to hear when you're holding second, and sure, you've got 5 players still up, but with those heals trickling out, all those buffs disappearing, how are you supposed to hold second without your medic?
Yeah, unbelievable stuff there as they managed to get themselves in, and you know, get the drop onto Juxta is a really big deal here, because now you can get yourselves in onto last before even getting the second capture. That means the gun's going to go down immediately. Flicks on the Pyro, trying to get some, you know, a little bit of pressure, trying to get themselves away from the point. Uber comes out on the side of Forfence already, and well, with the Ubers being equalized once again, it's just going to be a lot of messy team fighting going on. The scouts go down. Alien soon to fall after that. Flick still up on the Pyro, though, doing a lot of work here. Manages to find one. It's just going to be Juxta left to defend the point, and QB finds it. That's going to be another round in favor of Forfence. It's looking like your prediction could be coming into fruition here.
Yeah, but Jesus, I should have predicted a time, not a score line. Look at these guys. They're blazing through them. There's not even been 10 minutes on the clock. They must have a hot date tonight, and they don't want to make the little lucky lady late.
definitely so. And, well, as we are just watching these roll-ups, we might as well talk about what happened quickly on that last. There was a bit of a dismantling going on. I don't think they expected the pressure so early with the gun going down as early as it did. It just spelt disaster for the side of DTR. And I think they're going to be a little more prepared coming into the next one. A big bomb coming in, but it looks like he's just going to fake it, keep himself safe as well. Alien takes a lot of damage, manages to surf himself out, but not able to get the pack as it's just been stolen by his teammate. The Maul gets that frag, and now as the soldiers for DTR get themselves in, a lot of damage done to Brugeman, but it's going to be Smile that falls in the backline. Nikki still alive alongside Ams in a 3v3 fight now.
Do you prefer soldiers or do you prefer demo man? If you prefer demo man, you're looking at the side of Forfence. They have the demo man advantage, but it means that reload times are so much more abusable. They pop Ubers on both teams, but it's a big fat single for QB. He's going to kind of push them into to the lobby area. He's getting challenged. I don't know why Ams thought he could kind of take that fight there. That sticky was primed with his name on it, and he will kind of taste the gravel for it.
Indeed he does. And well, as Forfence once again get themselves set up in alley, you start to wonder whether DTR should be prepared for this. And well, there's the preparation coming into play, but the Maul is there on the other side trying to get the damage onto Juxta that they need. And well, with Juxta taking a lot of damage, he's going to be backing himself up, which means the positions aren't going to be there for DTR, and it means Forfence are able to take second.
Yeah, it was a nice bomb in from Demo. I mean, to say he didn't get a pick, he just only got damage in. He also drived all the eyes away from his team. So when they kind of come back in for the collapse, it was kind of easy for them to work that fight one by one with just all those turned eyes and turned guns. And oh, they try to get a bit greedy, a bit big for the britches here over on Forfence, but they're going to get punished for it. Maybe feeling themselves a little too much, Nash.
Yeah, maybe so, and I think the fact that this round wasn't ended there and then means that they did kind of overextend themselves, and the Ubers are now equal. A demo is missing on the side of DTR, so...
Oh, we got a pause here.
We have got a pause. Everything stops.
If you're living under a rock and you're wondering, like, why are you so curious about the pause timing term? Usually people only kind of throw out a pauses once something happens, where either a player disconnects, which is very likely in the any esport in the world. It is all that electronics at the end of the day, or you could lose another round in 90 seconds time. And you start panicking and thinking, God, our team is doing really badly. Let's have a tactical pause and just have a quick talk through what's going off on these mids, what's going off in this game.
Yeah, very much so. There are some occasions where we've seen those tactical pauses in the past, but they're very few and far between, especially in TF2. So we're a little curious as to how this could have unfolded. But let's talk about what we can see. Right now we've got, looks like DTR want to maybe try and get some pressure on towards the shutter, even though they are just about to get their respawns, I guess. So they're not really too worried about these players that are going to be lingering around inside the lobby. And, well, the other players of, like, Nevo coming up on the respawn as well. The side of Forfence are going to be down 2 players in this initial fight. And with Alien and Flick coming up on the respawn and their spawn being so much closer, there could be a lot of pain in store for the side of Forfence if they decide to carry on going forward.
I believe that they're going to try and take a fight in the lobby. I don't advise it, though, but at the end of the day, they're 3 rounds down. They feel like they're on the slip and slide, and they need to start clawing their way back up. So they'll take any sort of little fight or opportunity they can. So I think they might make this lobby attack happen. I think it's going to go a bit devastatingly, and then they'll just kind of get snowballed into this last point, because those respawners, yeah, sure, they died. They're lacking 2 players right now, but they're going to come back into the fight relatively quickly. A soldier and a scout, it isn't going to take long to get back up. And also, they're lacking Alien Smiley as well. A demo man is a powerful thing. Actually, no, not going for the lobby fight. Backing off wisely here over on DTR.
Indeed we are, and well, Forfence going to want to be taking this little engagement on the far left side for DTR. Soldiers coming in. Brugeman lands on Juxta, hits the air shot, and that's going to be the Uber coming out. QB still stuck in though, loses his life alongside Brugeman, and with the 2-man advantage, they want to try and get this a bit further forward, potentially get a force for themselves. Deal a bit of damage to Nevo, but he's going to be holding his ground on top of the point. Instead, it looks like there is enough pressure on this four-fence side to keep them away.
Yeah, it's always a desperate cry to try and go for that Uber Force when you've had your Uber Force out at the last point as well. And that came down to was no engineer, no sentry gun, no heavy, no nothing. What was stopping any soldier from just, you know, barging in and forcing Juxta, let alone Brugman, was just a kind of crying shame. They will end up using a Pyro to delay a majority of this Uber, but that is a guaranteed player pick by picking that Pyro sort of suicide attempt. And now they're going to just focus these players one by one. Brugman finding a nice tasteful spot to be ever so annoying against this scout. Still not going down. He's admiring his team taking over the last point for him. He doesn't even go down.
Yeah, I've used that spot many times in the past. It's one of those where if you wipe a mid and you're fast enough, you can get a quick little spawn camp on the go. But that was very nice. The fact that he managed to clear out the player that was you know, trying to be a nuisance and tickle his toes a little bit. So once he got that pick, he was able to just sort of linger around, apply some pressure. No one was really able to, you know, divert their attention over towards him, and he became a very big problem.
4-0. 5-0 is when the Mercy rule will start kicking in for this poor Danish Tyrant regime. They start to go very aggro at the start of the mid. When things get desperate, it's time to just go aggressive. And yeah, it looks like offense is the best defense for Danish Tyrant regime. They actually win out this mid quite comfortably.
Mula's alive though, which is something that's so astonishing and such a difference maker between these two teams. Mula is able to live even in these desperate situations. Now Brugman's behind. As much as Arms is on him, Arms loses his life, and Smile could potentially be in trouble here too, but never mind, as Brugman falls.
Yeah, getting a trade, always the nice bonus of losing out a soldier is just taking someone with you, going for those simple shoot the floor, get kill rockets for Brugman. But with 100% Uber charge on both of these teams, they actually want to just jump in their soldiers pretty early, but there's a heavy weapons guy already meeting them that's going to deny them all this. Mula goes down to the Flick. Flick just weasels his way in with the two soldiers, gets the drop onto Mula. Was that the tactical pause? Was just like, Flick, we want you to just go in and just like meat shot the lad, and it worked out.
I missed that completely until I said, oh my god, and Flick at the same time decided to say the same thing in chat. So I'm very surprised at what happened there. You might have to describe it to me, because the fact that Mula actually went down in such a dire situation means that now DTR are on the front foot for one of the first times. They have this big advantage.
Yeah, I think Mula just had his foot in the door, but didn't quite have the spawn change quick enough, perhaps. And yeah, does go down. Will use the full fat Uber advantage over on Danish Tyrant regime. And the Pyro comes out, the Heavy comes out as well. There's going to be a hard fight still for them. Heavy's completely distracted though. They don't quite get enough damage onto him, however, and he's buying a lot of time for his team to kind of come back in the wings. QB is going to keep himself alive. He gets the kill on two players. They're very low though. They're trying to stack the fight. QB comes in clutch. He's built better than 5 men. QB, huge for his team.
And then the roller kills Mula too, which means that the Ubers are going to be equalized. Maybe slight advantage for Juxta, but nothing too meaningful. Or potentially it might be. It might be like a 20 ad here. They might be able to dot push off of it, but well, with them not coming into second and not really trying to get any contention in lobby, DTR are able to just regain their position, even though they lost most of their team.
Take a picture. You're not going to see many times a scout's going to pull out clutch like that. Every single shot counts, and every bit of pixel of health, every bit of time that Neva provided on that heavy weapons guy was needed in that last defense. And you've got to be kind of tilted, surely, if you're on the side of Danish Tyrant regime. You threw it all in. You had 100% Uber charge advantage, and it's still beefed.
Yeah, 100%. One man is the fate of your entire team. And speaking of fate of your team,
Crits?
Nicky loses his life. Here comes the crits, potentially going to be a pretty big deal here. Not really able to find anything. They've only found one. The demo falls in the meantime, but there's not really a lot going on. Uber's still there. The crit flares coming out to see if he can find anything, but no, still just lingering around.
They're going to re-enter this fight. They've actually built cheekily a sentry gun up right in front of the eyes of these poor Danish Tyrant regime. And yeah, they're sure they're going to have a crit squeeze built up, but this time they're going to be aware of it over on 4 fence, so they should kind of adjust accordingly. Expect your pyros, expect maybe some snipers, your soldiers getting very aggro at these doors. 100% crits, ready, primed, and they're already going in. They're actually going with the laser beam, so you can't reflect these, and Juxta goes down to a trap set by Deli, predicting which door they were going to make that crit attack from.
Exactly the case, and now with everyone up on the side of 4 fence, well, not for too much longer, I guess, but with enough players up on the side of 4 fence, and also the Uber just coming up now, they are going to be able to get themselves onto second and see if they can actually take this point. There's a lot of pressure coming out inside of the lobby, and looks like Alien maybe wants to try and apply some pressure, but no, as they do just decide to fall off to the midpoint.
They've got the Uber charge ready and bubbling away in Mula's back pocket, and they're making the slow push from Valley. They're going to try and weasel away through all the spam. I say weasel away through all the spam. They just use the Uber straight away. They want to get aggressive with this Uber, but very easy to kind of see that Uber charge coming back out into the lobby and just kind of maybe humor the idea of going back in and holding on to this mid. Alien is poking at the door, but he's not quite opening it.
Yeah, potentially they've managed to get themselves near that Uber. They're just going to use it straight in. Arms and Alien getting themselves as deep as possible, but they're not able to catch Mula. And it looks like instead it's going to be Alien and Smile that get themselves killed.
QB's gone behind. He's actually won the flank fight, and yeah, sure, he does go down eventually, but that's 3 players he's brought back onto second point. What kind of situation would you like where you pop an Uber and you end up losing the mid and now the second point?
Exactly, and well, with Mula just being invincible, I guess, he's got the Buddha command active as he does manage to just dodge and weave in a lot of these situations, keeping himself alive once again on second, as now they're going to be contesting inside of the lobby. Smile tries to deal a bit of spam, isn't quite able to find anything. This gun's only going to be at level 1 as the Uber comes in. Nevo just getting the cap time. Smile jumps around, isn't able to find the rocket he needs because the flash is there, and with this team fight going on, Deli's going to be a little bit caught underneath the bridge here, but does manage to keep himself alive with the beam, and everybody on the side of DTR falls in order for a 5-0 mercy roll on the side of 4 fence.
They were playing with their food there. There was a point where obviously they had Nevo on the point, got so much cap time, forced the hand to kind of get onto the point. That was Alien, but he ends up just going down to a soldier very early, so that point was bare for all 99% of that push, but they were like, nah, we don't want the point. We don't want to win right now. We want to kind of crush your spirit going into your second map. And remind me, Naj, isn't this the map pick of DTR?
Oh, you're testing my memory here, but yes, it is going to be, yeah, it is the map pick of the Danes. So we are going to be going into the 4 fence pick next, which is even scarier for the side of DTR. Are they able to turn it around? That's the question.
I mean, never say never. There is crazier things. I don't know. How about this? Let's review the logs. Let's start, maybe finding some wins for the Danes, and then, we'll take a step from there.
Well, that we will, and looking at the logs, there is a 400 DPM mark for the side of 4 fences demo, which is something that is actually pretty astonishing. Managing to just deal that much damage in team fights in general is pretty incredible, especially when you have such a dominant performance in games. So you can kind of realize that in a lot of these situations, Deli is the important factor. Even though it's not like a sort of amazing stat in game, you can see on the logs itself, he was doing a lot. So in a lot of these positions, I think we can see quite a bit more focus on Deli. And if 4 fence are able to play into that, they could definitely just be able to continue the steamroll. But if on the opposite side, DTR are able to, catch Deli, keep him in a little bit of a box, keep him in their pocket a little bit, he might be able to. Oh, they might be able to deal a lot of damage as well. But QB also, with the 21-7, is going to be a big problem for them as well.
Yeah, I'm trying to find a nice stat to kind of ease the pain of Danish Tyrant regime here. Hey, look, Nikki got the same amount of health packs as Brugman. That's something, right?
Exactly.
Okay, okay, all right. I'll level with you, Danish Tyrant regime. This isn't going great. I think on every single front they had you like going. Sure you won that one mid where you kind of gave them a surprise or kind of belting aggressive attack and charge against them, but you know anybody can kind of get caught off by some random attack. And also it just demonstrated how good on defense that four fence are as well. It goes to show they're a good, well-rounded team. It isn't all about just a pristine attack, it's a pristine defense as well. And they had a clutch moments. It was very nice sort of kind of adaptation and change of plans, even like coming out with some clutch factors of turning points around where Danish Tyrant regime had the advantage and had these Uber charges and actually ended up getting completely Uno reversed onto them. No, help me out here. There's got to be something we can kind of give these boys.
I think on the side of DTR, there was a lot of situations where they could have been able to turn some things around. I think it was only really minor mistakes that really let them down in a lot of these team fights, like Ams lingering for a little too long, or Flick maybe trying to get a little too aggressive in some of these fights. As much as it worked, there was that one last push where he managed to get the salvage. He got in onto Mueller on the spawn door, got the drop, and I think in some of these situations, if you're able to sort of slow it down, bring it back to a bit more of a grouped situation, instead of just playing a lot of these sack plays on AMS, especially when things are like going wrong and you want to try and help your team escape, they can probably even try and find some sort of opportunity to collapse on these players that are chasing.
I think I'll add one last little thing to the bill there. As I would say, like that one aggressive mid that they did was very good. It was very coordinated. It was just kind of like we either do it or we don't. They throw both soldiers in, and they came out so very strong and swinging. Maybe that's just the mantra they need to go for on a Snakewater. It's not really popular nowadays. A lot of teams kind of like want to just chill back and just let the team pushing to them, and then they react accordingly. Just supreme prem focus fire, but I mean, this is not a game where you're winning conventional TF2. I think this is where you have to start getting weird here if you're on Danish regime.
Yeah, I think for this map in particular, it's going to be a little bit of trouble for the side of DTR because of how enclosed and blind the sort of choke points are going from mid to second, and how much distance there is between second and last. So it could be a little bit of a problem for them actually getting their footing in a lot of these team fights. But starting us out, we do have Deli being the initiator, dealing a bit of damage to Alien and not really taking any himself. The top contention is there for Nevo as Flick takes a lot of spam. The bombs are coming in from the four fence soldiers. They manage to get all three of the picks on that door, and they are just going to be getting themselves all the way through onto the second point, and potentially even just going straight into last here.
Yeah, it looked like, again, a very conventional mid from DTR, just kind of playing patient, playing back, and just kind of hoping to react and cut things. But you noticed how quickly they snowballed that advantage there. When they got that pick onto Flick, and then it kind of was the green light for every single blue player to just start going aggressive. And they did it in unison, and it was very, very jarring for Danish Tyrant regime to deal with. They're already going in with the Uber charge now. There's no Uber on the back pocket for Jux to protect things, with Nevo already putting that point pressure, but gets a nice sort of kill to start off the pressuring with Smile, but QB, he's there to pick up the slack. As soon as Nevo goes down, he just carries on the duties of capping that point out.
Yeah, not enough defense on either not enough defense on Alien in order to be able to put a lot of pressure or damage onto that point, or in general, not enough sort of, I don't know, off classes, I guess. Like, Abs was a little late on the heavy. It left the point very, very open. And I think that's really where we're seeing a lot of these flaws. They're just leaving a lot of gaps in order for four fence to kind of weasel their way through. And, well, in a sense, there's some fence panels missing for BTR.
Oh, Delhi goes down nice and early. This is just the mid that they need over on Danish Tyrant regime. And any team, I don't care if you're the champion of ETF2L or if you're down at the bottom divs, losing an own man that early is usually a stake in the heart for any mid fight.
Indeed it is, and well, DTR have finally managed to find themselves some footing in this game, maybe some leg room, as they are able to get themselves up and into lobby. They do want to try and get a bit of contention off of these picks, and they are just getting themselves in on this left side. Smile goes in for a huge bomb, lands on the opposite spawn door, but isn't able to find it, nearly gets himself round, and that was nearly a huge play from him. Unfortunately, he couldn't find it. And the side of 4 fence now have an opportunity to potentially make that return, but instead, gun goes up.
I like the proactiveness from Danish Tyrant regime. Not many teams like to go and pressure the last straight away, but it does open a couple avenues for them. For one, they don't have a sentry gun built up now ready for the last defense. And for two, you never know. Smile might pull out that hat, rabbit out of the hat and get that pick onto Moolah, but it doesn't work out this time. They get the second point nonetheless, and they've got the sentry gun built up, however. It's only level 2, but that's still enough impact for any sentry gun that they want built here on 4 fence. And now the ball's in the court for Danish Tyrant regime. They're not going to go for a full fat push. I think they're just going to go for some sort of pick play here.
Yeah, very, very probably. They are just sitting around in lobby in these aggressive positions, just kind of waiting to potentially send something in. It is going to be a double soldier over towards drop down in order to get rid of the gun. Maybe even going straight in for something. A Smile looks like he wants to try and get aggressive. He's done a lot of damage to Demul, potentially able to get that pick, and it is going to be Nicky there to finish it off. Speaking of getting finished off, he loses his life as well. But they are just wanting to, keep poking, keep prodding, see if they can find anything else.
QB cheekily builds the sentry gun pretty quickly, even despite it getting destroyed here, and that sort of thing kind of throws your team out of flux. Clearly, Ams thought he was a bit more safe to go for aggressive in. What with his team taking out... Oh, there was an Uber charge in the lobby. I haven't been paying attention, as it seems Juxta had to use for some reason. And now, with 3 players in, Nicky comes back to the world of the living, but he goes swiftly back to the world of the dying. And yeah, doesn't really come up with too much for his team to work with. Yeah, sure, Delhi goes down here, but they can't convert this into a last push now, because they haven't got the stinking Uber charge. Oh no, Bruce goes down there.
Smiles in. The force is there, and they've got the Uber off on the side of 4 fence. They've now got themselves an Uber advantage. Flick's still up on the sniper, potentially going to be running all the way back to meet up with Smile on the respawn. And I think this could potentially be a DTR round.
Moolah, I didn't realize you gave to charity. He just kind of popped that one and gave it to Danish Tyrant regime for free. He's a very charitable man, that Moolah.
Yeah, yes he is. He did just kind of give that one away as... I know there's a certain term for that a lot of people on teams I've played for like to use. Moving on though, it is going to be up to 50% by the time DTR have managed to get themselves inside. Am's going to be trying to get the cap time as they have got the gun down already. Pressure applied onto Brugman alongside Delhi. Delhi loses his life, and with Demul coming in from under the point, is going to lose his life as well. Brugman just standing around on top, trying to keep himself safe, trying to keep the point from being attacked too much, but DTR very low on health. The scouts on point, they are able to get it with the cap time. That is going to be a DTR round, finally securing their first in this series.
Let's go, they did it. That's like a not even 100% increase if you've in the laws of probability, going up 1 to 0. It's like an infinite increase here for Danish Tyrant regime. It went really well. They took out Delhi. He was crucial for kind of keeping that point play covered, and they were just spread too thin. Not enough damage, not enough kind of angles as well to finish off those low players from the places they have over on that Snakewater map. So this is going good for Danish Tyrant team. Let's see how the last mid kind of came out of thin air from Delhi going down. So it seems the weakness for 4 fence, take out Delhi, you have a good chance of winning a point.
Yeah, pretty much as I said between the maps, but it's going to be QB to lose his life first. Smile and Nicky go to try and find something, but instead it's going to be them to die next. Juxta just dodging and weaving, perfectly dodging those rockets from Demul, but does lose his life to the arrows of Moolah.
Goes down. A long-range arrow coming out from Moolah. You do not expect the medics to actually lay down the kills, and it's time for a nice little suicide wave, hoping that you can just find something in the last legions of your life on this mid-fight. But they find nothing in the grand scheme of things. Moolah is going to continue with his Uber charge advantage, and they're even looking into lobby already before even capping second.
Indeed they are. Nevo already wanting to try and get some contention onto these players, and Smile is just forced so far back all the way onto his own left side. The Uber comes out. They are just going to be trying to get this heavy back into the spawn door, and this is perfect for them now as they've only got 2 soldiers to deal with. The demo of Alien comes out, deals a lot of damage onto the point. They found 3 picks, potentially going to be coming out of this with a win. They've got themselves the win. They're going to be moving on to second, and now they've got to see if they can catch Mula or even use this advantage for themselves.
Yeah, they did have a late hop in from 4 fence, which was you think would be quite an advantage, but if a team just backs off into their last point, how are they supposed to attack them with the overcharge? And yeah, Nikki coming in clutch, coming in from the blind side eye of Nevo, killing him on that point and stopping the basically the way you punish people barricading themselves into their defense is going for the point play, but it just got countered nicely by Nikki.
And it did, and well, QB back once again on these flank plays, this time alongside Bruchman as they're dealing a lot of damage, keeping them stuck on this sword door, but Smile in a perfect position to potentially find Mula. Cleaned up by Nevo is he, and well, as QB tries to take a 1v1 with Flick that he's going to lose, it's going to be a little unfortunate for the side of 4 fence. They've managed to find Bruchman as well, and this push could potentially be in vain, as there is just more players on the side of DTR in order to take this fight. Here comes the trade, and not really anything to be found.
Yeah, it was very interesting to see Nevo kind of walking in on his own, and Ams finally turning around on that second point. He's like, for fuck's sake, he is a god, and then he just goes back in and fights him. You know, he's not. Everybody else was scared. There was 4 versus 1 at one point. It looked like for Nevo walking in, but they just take the Uber fight, and it was now looking actually decently okay for Danish Tyrant regime. They lose a couple of people on the transfer onto mid though. They have a quick head count and realize that this is not bueno. Oh, Bruchman, nice stylish air shot onto Alien Smiley to clean him up. Smile kind of trying to repair a bad situation by throwing themselves into the wolves and hoping he can get the leader of the pack. Doesn't quite work out, however. Already capping out second, then mating them on last as it's unlocked. And Deli, he's playing sacrificial. He gets onto the point, forcing Nikki onto the point as well. Ams does get the kill onto Mula, but that's thinking too small. Picture the soldiers have come back into the fight. Smile's going to bot the point. Devil has got him in a chokehold though. He can't leave the point without losing the round. He gets back in. Minecraft Axe does not work, however.
That was almost such a good salvage from Ams, and I think Smile there. That was so good. Ams managed to get the kill onto Mula, and then the soldier on point alongside Alien was just able to do so much damage, but couldn't quite find the cleanup on the kills that they were looking for. Very, very unfortunate, but it was so good to begin with.
I enjoyed the sentiment of Ams going for this med pick, but when they're they're knocking literally at the last point, you probably need to start shooting at those people with guns. Maybe Mula was really close to overcharge, and that definitely would have sealed their fate. So perhaps maybe that was the right pick at the end of the day. But we're going to start a new mid now. Nikki already going for a positional bomb straight behind, stealing their health back. But they've already got 2 people to kind of deal with over on Danish Tyrant regime, and to give them credit, they expertly deal with it as well. Ams kind of showing QB that he's not the only scout in the house. I just saw a soldier leave all the way in the background. You know, we played Smash.
I don't know, man. Like, Juxta just keeps catching arrows on mid, though. I need to keep pointing this out. Like, Juxta needs to just look where he's going, please. There is so much damage that is found by Mula on every single one of these mids, just onto Juxta, and it could very much be a disaster for DTR if it continues.
Okay, they finally cap out midpoint now over on Danish Time regime. Expect no sort of shenanigans with 4 fence to kind of play off this delayed cap of the mid and seconds. They're already setting up a sentry gun. They've got a sniper at the ready. 2 soldiers buffed and primed. They are ready for this 100% advantage over on DTR. They start in with an Uber. They clean up the sentry gun. Check. Point pressure. Check. Now they need to try and clean up these soldiers that are going to aggress onto them. They lose a lot of damage, and Deli goes down again early as well. And no Deli, no defense.
Exactly, and that's going to be the second round on the series for DTR, managing to secure themselves once again an equilibrium in this matchup, and they're going to be wanting to try and take it further, potentially just grasping at straws for this 3-point finish, rather than just getting absolutely 6-0'd on the ETF2L page.
Again, a lot of players, teams, spectators outcry that this Forfen squad is formidable. They've made Witness bleed, but if you're the one that punches them and they see blood come out, surely they can die, and they're going to start off this mid with a nice Brugeman high bomb to kind of keep them distracted. Eyeballs away, but they're actually kind of pulling out some random gusto over on Danish Tyrant regime. In all the confusion and hot mess, they actually skirmish their way into a mid-win, and they keep Juxta alive.
I don't mean to be overcritical. That was phenomenal from DTR, but there was a very long time where Juxta was left alone in a 1v1 with a soldier, and once again, it's one of those positions where you're just giving so much opportunity to the opposite side, and it did work for them this time, but we'll have to see in the future.
So they're going to let them build the sentry gun here at last, and they're already stacking the point over on second. They should have plenty of time to get an Uber advantage in the impactful one. They've got the level 2 now ready for the sentry gun, for the Uber to come in on the sentry gun, and now here it comes. This time they need to keep Delhi alive. Delhi is very important. They already start off by pressuring AMS for pressuring that point, and yeah, a nice, stronger, much stronger unit. Demol coming up with the counter sort of sack to deal with the aggressors onto it, and you notice Delhi's still alive, and they made the defense this time.
Yeah, that was just all Forfence all the time. They managed to secure such a strong footing on that last, and just not being able to actually lose really anyone other than the one player that got a bit too aggressive. I love the stickies on the spawn door here. Might get himself caught.
Am's not deterred though, and he thinks like, okay, I'm going to pop out at the right time. Awkwardly enough, oh, he gets the pick onto Brugeman. That's a rude awakening for the lad, but I mean, at the grand scheme of things, that isn't going to be too big of a deal, because he has to switch out now all the way back to the back spawn, and he's going to be one less player for the fight coming in. There was a bomb from Smile onto Moolah, but it was merely just a startle, a jump scare, as he won't go down. He's not really in any sort of danger, and 100% overcharge is enough to threaten DTR to give up second. And sure, they have the Uber charge still, but they don't have the advantage of that.
Yeah, they've managed to get the Uber up on the side of DTR, as alluded to, but with the pressure coming in from the side of Forfence, they are just wanting to try and see if they can poke and prod, maybe find an opportunity to take the ground and even get some cap time. As Nevo manages to get it all the way up to half.
Juxta's ended up dropping, I'm afraid, and without the Uber charge sort of safety there, there's one thing on the mind. Oh, Moolah, he's on his own. AMS, he's trying to smell him, but he can't smell him. Where is he? Where is he? Where is that, my French food?
Yeah, they just managed to back himself out in the end, and AMS just resorts back to getting the point cap. They are just going to position themselves passive on second. Looks like they're actually just going to get themselves all the way out into the lobby. I thought they were just going to be passive here. Oh, they are. They're coming back in to apply a little bit of pressure. The side of Forfence, though, don't want to let themselves go too easy. They're not going to want to try and give away this force.
Muller takes a love tap to the face from Alien, but AMS, my god, okay, we're a bit bloodthirsty here. Smart's going to get the trade in cheese against Brugeman, so it could be better, could be worse for both of these teams, and Alien holding the lower door, making sure they're not coming in for absolute free, and they actually pop off the door really early for Forfence here. They just want to get proactive. Zelly tries to get the early jump onto the sniper, rotates out too quickly, and that allows the rest of Danish Tyrant regime to kind of rotate around, deal with the flank team, but they actually just win out the fight over against on the flank team as well. No Uber charge needed.
Yeah, the disparity there in the team fight was so apparent. Losing those two players and just having a one-man disparity between the two teams was just a really big deal for them.
Yeah, AM's presence was missed on that last point. It's fine though. It's 3-2. Is this an unfortunate pause timing?
Yeah, I thought I lagged out for a second.
Ah, Nevo timed out, I'm told. Okay, all right. So we'll wait patiently while Nevo does his tactical timeout. 3-2 though. That's still an exciting scoreline. I was a bit worried it was going to be a 5-0, 5-0 affair here, Naj.
We're worried of the same thing, but potentially we could be seeing some of the predictions from, well, I say some of the predictions, my prediction from the last map, to potentially be a little bit more true, but by the looks of things it's going to be on the opposite side. There is a lot that is going very right for the side of 4th and a lot that's going very wrong for the side of DTR. I think they need to stop with these aggressive plays, especially against a team that is as structured as 4th. They're losing out on a lot of these just simple petty engagements just because they're trying to play alone on these solo plays.
I think a lot of it that really hurts this team is when they make the transition from second to mid. They end up always, this flank loses the fight against Brugman and QB, and it just completely nullifies any sort of advantages to go in. So we're going to go into a new mid now, a new dawn, a new day. Brugman going in behind, and now he's going to come and spring the trap against Jugster. Jugster goes down nice and early. Muller has only one objective in his mind, keep himself alive, bring his players out to guard him, and maybe take things from there. If they can keep Muller, then they're more likely to win the sustained fight and this sustained round.
Indeed they are, and indeed they do. Alien is going to be down over towards the lower area, just placing up these sticky traps, getting himself in a position to potentially try and find a pick, but Muller is going to be just over towards the Saw side. Not wanting to continue any further with Nevo because there's potential for Muller to just lose his life, but waiting for the team and getting himself in with everybody else.
They have switched off to Kritzkrieg over on Danish Tyrant regime. I like this idea. Usually if you don't think you're going to build the Uber charge in time, well, at least we can settle for Kritzkrieg. It is a bit of a discount Uber, but it's better than nothing, as they're going to have it ready for them to make this push in, and I'll be opted to see what sort of flavour of Kritzkrieg they're going to go with. They take out the central gun rather quickly. QB already on the point. They're going for the heavy weapons, laser beams, and look at them blinking off 3 members, and Smile to even finish off the last corner and cowering in the corner as it's Nevo, the last soul alive. He's hiding though.
Don't do this.
And no, don't do this to the man. Smile. He's on the wide.
He's not ready.
Look at the door. He gets shot. He's capping the last point. It's going to come down.
Oh
to
my God.
Blue wins it. 4th round on the board. Poor Danish Tyrant regime. They do everything right and it all goes wrong.
Oh, what a shame. That's so unfortunate. That is simply a huge mistake, a huge blunder on the side of DTR. Like, just not checking drop down there is a huge deal.
Well,
you know this one alive.
Smile. I don't know why he was like thinking, oh, look at this concrete floor. Delicious. Get your head in the game, lad. You've got the last point to look at. You were aware there was 1 player left. You've got a scoreboard like the rest of us.
Yeah, the fact that he hadn't been spotted as well, and that would have been called from the rest of the team. He should have been paying more attention. A lot of aggression coming out on the side of 4th though, as they've managed to get everybody remaining alive. Very, very low on health with no medic to heal them up.
Ams? He's mad.
Ams is still going for these solo plays, and he's still achieving at least a trade most of the time, but it's not really going to be worth too much when you're getting them down 1 and your team's still down 3.
You gotta imagine an AMS team is much like a train, while all of his team is like cart number 2. He's cart number 1, and he will detach cart number 2 if he feels like it's pulling him back. So he just lets go of them and just starts walking in, choo-choo. And sadly, this train has been sent off the rails. They're already in at last. Sure, they had to expend Uber charge a lot, but they're gonna give them a college try to say they've only got a couple of players left. They throw in Delhi, try to get on top of Juxta. The pick play doesn't work out, and they don't stick around for last because they didn't even have second.
Yeah, I think obviously backing up because of the disparity on man count, but I think potentially 4th think the Uber advantage for the side of DTR is a little bigger than it might actually be. Brugman goes flying in.
Oh, Juxta, he's thrown up. Demo can't quite make it as far as Brugman, however, so it doesn't have the follow-up for Juxta. And, I mean, to say they lost 2 players, it doesn't discourage 4th from coming back in. QB going for the flank, doesn't work out. Juxta's brought down low once again. It's got to be a tantalizing fish for 4th, but now they think, no, 3 players is just too much.
I saw an arrow fly over while Juxta was on like 15 HP, and I genuinely nearly had a panic attack. But in they come through kitchen.
Oh my god, Ams! He's mad. He wants to go. Oh no! Finally, back decides that this is way too much, and they actually go back, circle back and deal with Brugman. This is the happy timeline. They pop off Uber, but they've got Uber charge ready on Mula and co. So I don't know what the play is here. A lot of multi to get out as well. Imagine being multi this much and then just get instantaneously shot in the face. Delhi trying to meet up against... oh, how the hell? There have been more DTR members than there have been Forfence players. They must have won anything in the post-Uber fight. Very nice sort of reinforcements. They still haven't even capped midpoint, so those players were long respawning. Brugman comes in. It's kind of save your friend syndrome. Will go down. Nevo's going to go in as well. It's a melting pot here on second point, and finally everyone will fall here for Forfence.
Yeah, a lot of respawners there for DTR coming into that mid fight, and well, they're going to be back in and ready to try and take this last point away from Forfence, see if they can potentially get themselves closer to that equalization. Arms gets quite a lot of cap time here, but the sticks are being replaced. They've got a lot of picks, 3 men down, trying to see if they can get some contention on this left side, but Nevo still wants to try and pressure them. Delhi getting onto the point, loses his life. This is going to be a DTR round, and now 4-3, a little bit closer to that equalization.
Alright, Forfence kind of doing a skill check there. We're kind of maybe getting a bit cocky over on Forfence. A bit strange decisions, to say the least. Just players going in YOLO and just thinking that they could win the fight 1 versus 4. And yeah, they get punished for it, and that as soon as the overcharge came out, it was a nail in the coffin for that round. It's possible here for Danish Tyrant regime. 7 minutes left on the clock, plenty of time to weasel out an extra tying round.
Indeed it is, and well, as once again we see Delhi as the initiator, dealing more damage to Alien than we see in the vice versa, but as more players arrive, more damage is being spread, and there still is no real aggression. Brugman has made his way to the kitchen, but no one's really trying anything here. Smile finally goes in for a big bomb, lands on top of QB, is able to get 1 rocket, finds the second, and he's now going to be behind the Mula in the remainder of this fight. Gets off 1, Mula gets out through Catwalk, and Demul going to be the only one left to keep him alive, as Mula is just running for his life, but Ams is on the chase.
The confidence is building for what is Mula doing? Okay, yeah, Mula's going to hit the kill bind, and
the latest spawn though.
The confidence is yeah, it's a delayed spawn, the sad timeline for Mula, but yeah, it was the confidence kind of showing from DTR once they feel confident on these mids. And also the timing's a lot snappier as well. As soon as Brugman went aggressive there, Nicky was on top of him like a ton of bricks. Already making this push into last. Uber charge in, and already a lot of cap time. They've kind of forgo the cap time though. They kind of forgot, whoopsie, we're at last point, but in all the blending and madness, they will maybe eke out a few kills, but there it is. 4-4. 1 round left, I believe, and before the 5 cap is going to happen for either of these teams.
Yeah, I don't think any of these rounds have really been too much longer, if longer than 5 minutes at all. With 5 minutes left on the map time, it does mean that we are highly likely to see this end with one team sort of taking the 5-4 instead of us going to the golden cap.
The mids have been commanding here for DTR 100%. On the map pick of Forfence. Let's see what their adaptation is. Forfence looking a bit kind of plain Jane out there, not really going. D-Maul goes aggressive, plays off the first jump from Brugman, and they're taking things a lot more slower paces. They're not going as deep, and they actually come back in. Nice sort of setup, double soldier affair, and it looked like the aggressive soldier, the solo YOLO fighter of Smile, goes down to the sheer numbers of Forfence, and yeah, it was a much better coordinated affair from Brugman and D-Maul. We all need help sometimes, Naj.
Yeah, Demul coming in from that lower area, hitting a nice, clean first and second rocket onto Juxta to take him down. Is going to mean Forfence are coming into this with 100% Uber advantage, and with their success rate coming into this last, we are probably going to be seeing this game over here and now. Nevo gets himself in position on the corner of the point, trying to get as much cap time as possible, isn't able to find much. They decide to focus on frags. Ams is going to be falling very low HP. Smiles follows suit and ends up dying, but with 3 down on the side of Forfence, that is going to mean that DTR are able to keep this on. They're keeping the game going, and they're going to be pushing themselves out.
Yeah, I've never seen so much Uber spent on capping a point when you're fully Ubered. As in, obviously, you and I know, everybody knows, your casual pub player knows that you can't cap the point when you're Uber charged, but they just spend a lot of time just not capping it with the said Uber. Now they're going to get kind of clipped at the door here for Danish Tyrant regime. Despite having an Uber advantage, losing Alien Smiley is never a good thing, but any push, despite the advantage. Brugman managed to eke his way behind, but gets cleaned up and found out. And now with one less player, Muller might get forced here by Smile at Cheese.
Indeed he might, but it's actually Drugster that's still catching stickies from Delhi while they were on that patio area. Nicky goes in, is able to find a rocket, but not able to find anything more, excuse me, as Demul looks like he wants to be the one to try and initiate.
They're making a grass push. One less soldier in the world is one less bomber to kind of pressure in, and also it makes this cheese area just that little bit weaker, so D-More, QB more likely to get in from that avenue, from that side. Smile's going to punish, however, from going in too deep, and they actually repel the soldiers, the space makers, for fence in that push out to second. And look, Ams, he's already going into kitchen. He looks like he wants to get a solo YOLO Uber on the cards here. Juxta is taking his time, however. They don't want to get aggressive with Uber. They don't want to be the first ones to pop. And Nevo, he's going to pop first, and he's chasing. You can't find them, but they just take the scout taxi out and just dodge the entirety of the fence Uber.
Indeed they have, and with this Uber advantage, they are going to be able to get themselves even further forward. The Mool not in a position to be able to go for the bomb, and they're just going to be setting themselves up on second, getting themselves passive as the side of DTR get themselves through Saw. Just wanting to try and slowly prod their way through, see if they can find a little bit of uncontested ground, checking around for these sticky traps and keeping themselves as safe as possible to maintain this Uber advantage.
Yeah, they won't have much Uber advantage long unless they make the push right now. That as they're capping second. Sentry Gun is going to get, well, I'd say cleaned up, switched out, and now they've got Ams on the point. D-Mall is addressing him. That's the scout taken out, the main capper for the team, and yeah, I think there's too many bodies for them to deal with over on poor Danish Tyrant regime, as Forfence will make the hold, and that started off with a strong counter from D-Mall.
These teams are playing with my blood pressure. We've seen one failed last push on one side and a second on the other in the span of 5 minutes so far.
Brugman.
Very greedy.
It's getting, oh no, Am's even greedier. My god, everyone is feeding the greed, and or just feeding is will be the poor Danish Tyrant regime. And yeah, surely they can just, yeah, they're backed out now. They're not going to do any more plays, not until they kind of have like some plan set up on the second point. And likely on the cards is just a simple give up here. You know, just giving up some ground, you know, delaying the time, playing more into the timer. 55 seconds left. The game has changed for Danish Tyrant regime. It's about going for that tie, that golden cap.
Indeed it has, and well, the 50% Uber advantage on the side of Forfence says that we want to try and get this done before that happens.
They're in for free.
They're already in for free, as you said. They're trying to get the cap time done. The bombs come in. They're trying to deal damage onto Nevo, but the cap time's there. The 1 HP soldier left, and that's going to be the win for the side of Forfence. 2-0 as we go across both of these maps.
Oy, oy, oy. How... I don't know what's worse, to lose a game 5-0, Naj, or to lose a game when you had a chance, when you had an opportunity to win it, because at the end of the day, it all matters for naught. ETF2L doesn't care how close the game is, it just cares who the winner is. And it looks like the big fat 6 ETF2L points will go to Forfence, and DTR, they leave with nothing.
15 seconds on the map timer once the point was captured, by the way. That is insane. I am absolutely amazed. They played with my blood pressure so much there. I'm lost for words.
Yeah, it just came down a lot of time to whether or not these scouts got picked off early at the point, and that came down to whether or not these Uber charges got used early in these sort of pushes out to these last points. Because Forfence didn't have to use that Uber early at the door, it was so relaxing for Nevo to get onto the point, because now the Ubercharge had a different role now. It was just kind of like a flip, a change around, a kind of get out of free jail card against these jumping soldiers of Smile, of Paul Nicky. And what is a team to do?
As you say, there isn't really a lot you can do. You're in a position where you just see it go. Just the fact that it went so back and forth, insane. Like these teams were very evenly matched on Snake, and I thought it was going to be a complete steamroll, but you can't really do much in any of these situations if you're on the side of DTR. There was a lot of times where they were just losing fights in really silly situations, but then when they won fights, they looked so commanding, so powerful, and it was just very unfortunate to see that they failed that final last push at the very end.
It hurts the soul now, because as much as we're kind of, kind of musing over the numbers, we have to muse over a few numbers here. Just have a look at the logs. Ignore that big fat 5-4 at the top of the screen. It's going to be a different story told here, and that is just one of slipping through the fingers. Look at Smile, Alien, all topping the charts really, and this in the grand scheme of the scoreboard. But it's these little goofy rounds that they have slipped through. Remember that back cap? That back cap essentially won the game for Forfen.
I mean, pretty much, yeah. Like the fact that Smile wasn't quite prepared on that last point, like just kind of standing around, as you said, looking at the concrete on the floor. So it became kind of a bit of a question mark as to whether DTR were really wanting to try and find the win.
And look at Deli's deaths. Look at his deaths compared to the first game. This man was a dying machine for most demo men compared. I mean, sure, Alien has some deaths as well, but his death just felt much more impactful. It felt really hard for them to make these last defenses without him going down, and these mids also with him going down as well. Maybe it was just the game plan from DTR to kind of focus Alien a bit more, but I don't know. It's just, I think that was just the little chink in the armor of Forfence.
Yeah, very unfortunate, because it's as well. It's like there was sort of so much work still done by Deli, even in this position where, like I said beforehand, he did so much on the previous map, and then coming into this second map, he still did so much work. Like he managed to outperform in damage, which is, kind of the demo specialty, damage and area denial, the entirety of the lobby once again. And that fact just shows that, like, AMS may have been trying his best to shut him down alongside, like, maybe the scout on his team, maybe some of the soldiers trying to do the same. But, like, the fact that they weren't able to do enough is so, like, the margin is so narrow, because if they could have just shut down Deli maybe like one more time, or maybe just, cut off the heals from him just one more time, or maybe given Mulo one more death, it could have been different. Yeah. And that's the really, like, unfortunate difference maker for both of these sides on this map.
I know we're bullying a few demo men out here, but don't think I've forgotten about the soldiers here either. Brugman, obviously given a lot of clout, given a lot of respect throughout the season. My man, I saw your Snakewater mids. They were looking pretty poo to me. And, well, it wasn't until we got Demol in the mix that I was having a bit more faith in these mids. Sure, yeah, there was a couple of times where it was very space-makey, but it wasn't really, like, the strong suit showing that Brugman is usually pioneering. Like, look at his Metalworks and his impact and those fast rollouts and what he was doing there compared to, like, his Snakewaters. Not nearly as strong.
Yeah, definitely so. I think that's another big factor in Forfence's performance. Just the fact that the soldiers looked like they were doing a lot less. Like they were much weaker in general. And as you say, it wasn't until they sort of started teaming up and really starting to try and put in the work together from multiple different avenues was when they really started to step things up and level with the DTR side. So that's probably a pretty big deal on their side. And I also think that sort of the combo on the opposite side for DTR, like Nicky really, like, didn't show much of a sort of semblance on a lot of these mids. as well.
I will give credit to these soldiers at the end, though. I think it was very much about who could kind of find these kills on the scouts, on these points, playing the points basically, and just maybe finding a lot of worth in their life at the end there. So, good defenses, not the great offenses on mid. Anyway,
Oh yeah.
I've had enough of e-bullying kids online, Naj. We need to close this out. I don't think we're gonna be graced with any sort of interviews, I believe. So let's just let's close this book of week 3 and let's move on to the next week. We've got week 4 coming up. Are you excited?
Well, that I am. I'm pretty interested to see where people end up. Like, especially with the games finishing now. I wanna see who's actually got who's got the meat behind the sauce.
Yeah, so into the next week, we're going to have, what are some big games? Antisci versus Witness Gaming is coming up. We've got Danish Tyrant Regime. We're going to be playing against Venom Crest. That could be good. These two seem like they're quite wild child teams that could play against one another. Otherwise, it might be a stack affair for a lot of teams, but maybe the highlight I would pick out there is Antisci versus Witness Gaming. See how they fare against the juggernauts of the season. Oh yeah, of course. There's the delayed game as well. Technically, there's still more week 3 to come as Witness Gaming and Mandem did delay their week 3 game. It was what we were supposed to cast tonight, but they snuck it from under our noses. So we're tuning in for that. That's going to be fun as well. Big shout out to my co-caster Naj.
Yeah,
Woo!
I do my best.
All right, and the biggest shout out, a big long round of applause for Stu for doing all of our production here tonight. Woohoo!
Woo!
All right, and a big shout out to you guys. Yes, give yourself a pat on the back. You're the reason we do this. Thank you for tuning in, and thank you preemptively, because I know you're going to go over to our social media, start following that, and looking at all the nice little things our social media team has been working at recently. You can find all the usual links somewhere on the channel. All right. I've been Totaz. With me has been Naj. Again, Stu in the production, and a big congratulations to Four Fence beating over DTR tonight. We'll see you next time.